Hello and welcome to a fresh new episode of Science Monitor, our weekly update on developments from the field of science and technology in and around the country. From Asia's largest optical telescope to foot-operated page-turner device and a face-to-face discussion with a researcher who is just back from Antarctica. We have many exciting stories in store for you today, but let us take a look at the headlines first. Devsthal telescope ready to scan the heavens. Novel technology will detect oral cancer in a flash. In our In Focus segment today, we will have a special guest with whom we will discuss about his research expeditions in Antarctica. And in our special segment, Technology You Can Use, we will learn about foot-operated page-turner device. And now news in detail. From the Madras Observatory to the most recent space observatory AstroSat, India has a very rich heritage of telescope engineering and space research. Now, adding another champion to the fleet is the Devsthal Optical Telescope, Asia's largest optical telescope that recently became operational in Nainital. A collaborative venture between India and Belgium, the advanced telescope was activated using a remote control system and is ready to scan the skies.
Way back in 1609, when he first invented the telescope with a simple combination of two lenses, little did Galileo know that the setup will revolutionize the field of astronomy. Today, over 400 years later, telescopes, needless to say, play a vital role in understanding the universe. From the telescope at Madras Observatory to AstroSat, India, like other leading space-faring nations of the world, has a rich scientific history of telescope engineering. Expanding its astronomical facilities further, India has launched Asia's largest general-purpose optical telescope. The optical telescope installed at Devsthal, 60 kilometers from Nainital and built in collaboration with Belgium, was activated through its advanced remote technical activation on 30th March by Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with Belgian Prime Minister Charles Michel during his visit to Belgium. Union Minister of Science and Technology and Ministry of Earth Sciences Dr. Harshvardhan was present in Devsthal during the launch. The telescope, a collaborative venture between ARIES or the Aryabhatta Research Institute for Observational Sciences and Messrs Amos Belgium, is a general-purpose optical telescope with a lens diameter of 3.6 meters, made of a material called shot zerodur and weighing 150 tons. Currently, Asia's largest general-purpose optical telescope can be operated with a remote control from anywhere in the world and will help in the study and exploration of stars, planets, exoplanets, magnetic field, galactic nuclei, and astronomical debris. The Devsthal telescope is housed in a 10-story building, specially designed and equipped with air and temperature control. The Devsthal optical telescope works by gathering and focusing light from the visible part of the electromagnetic spectrum, and being a general-purpose telescope can be moved around to observe astronomical events, unlike special-purpose telescopes which depend on the planetary movement. Hence, the installation facility also has 4 special cranes to help in the movement of the telescope, which can move as slow as few millimeters per second. ARIES has successfully completed the assembly, integration and verification phases of the telescope before it was made operational.
While cancer is one of the leading causes of death in the country, the most prevalent form of cancer in the nation has been identified as oral cancer. While early diagnosis and treatment can largely improve the survival rates, often oral cancer goes undetected for a long time. Towards this end, researchers have now developed a novel diagnoscope that can detect cancerous cell in the oral tissue instantly. The new technology, already developed in 2 major hospitals in the country, can be a boon to patients of oral cancer.
Cancer is today a major health burden worldwide. While researchers persistently strive towards developing novel therapies to manage cancer, the disease still evades complete cure. In India, the major form of cancer prevalent is oral cancer. It is estimated that 40% of total cancer deaths is by oral cancer caused by the consumption of tobacco and pan masala. Early detection of cancers, especially oral cancer, largely increases the chances of survival. While cancers are today commonly diagnosed by the technique of tissue biopsy, healthcare providers are largely moving towards using optical spectroscopy to detect cancer at its onset. Working in this direction and taking optical spectroscopy to detect cancers a step ahead, the Raja Ramanna Center for Advanced Technology, Indore, has developed a novel technique towards early and easy detection of oral cancer.
I am heading this lab called Optical Spectroscopy and Diagnostic Laboratory. Actually, in this lab, we have been doing the application of optical spectroscopy for biomedical diagnosis. And there are several activities in this under this banner. One is use of fluorescence and diffuse reflectance spectroscopy as well as Raman spectroscopy for diagnosis of oral cancer. We have developed several prototype systems for doing that, and recently we have come up with a small LED based system, diagnostic system, which can be operated by the USB port of a laptop computer and can help in oral cancer screening.
The technique is called the fluoro-reflector combo diagnoscope. The device comprises of nitrogen lasers, optical fiber probes, and CCD detectors. As soon as the probe comes in contact with the oral tissue, it can detect the cancerous cells present in the tissue, which can be spotted on the monitor. The device, following successful testing, has been deployed at the Government Cancer Hospital. A more compact and easily usable form of the device has also been installed at the Tata Memorial Hospital, Mumbai. The device, needless to say, comes as a boon towards early detection and management of oral cancer in India.
And now it is time to take a short break. We'll be back with more science news. Keep watching Science Monitor. Welcome back after the break. You're watching Science Monitor. Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our next segment, Science Express.
With the aim of promoting young innovators, India will play host to the 6th Asia Pacific Conference of Young Scientists to be held during 12th to 17th July 2016. The Foundation for Global Science Initiatives will organize the event at Amity University, Gurgaon. Towards this end, Dr. Harshvardhan, Union Minister of Science and Technology and Minister of Earth Sciences, on 29th March launched the handbook and web portal of the Asia Pacific Conference for Young Scientists. The handbook and web portal were launched in presence of the International Steering Committee led by physicist Professor Monica Raharti, senior representatives from Amity University and other dignitaries. The conference calls for students up to 18 years of age to present their research projects in various areas and compete for the Best Presentation Award. In a major step towards affordable healthcare for young children, an indigenously developed free rotavirus vaccine has been launched in India. The rotavirus vaccine, developed indigenously under a public-private partnership by the Ministry of Science and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, was launched in Bhubaneswar. The vaccine will now be freely available under the Universal Immunization Program and is to be rolled out across the country, covering Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh in the first phase.
Well, today's In Focus will be a little different than usual. The images of vast, mysterious stretches of ice is what comes to our minds when we think about the poles. Like space, most of us at some point of time must have imagined a journey through these icy lands. But what it is like to be actually there? Well, let's find out from a man who in fact has braved such a journey. We have with us in our studio today Dr. Abhishek Chauhan, who is just back from the 35th Indian Scientific Expedition to Antarctica. We'll discuss about Dr. Chauhan's research and experiences in our In Focus segment today. But before that, let us take you on a short tour to Antarctica.
Coldest, driest, windiest. Antarctica, more popular as the South Pole, is Earth's southernmost continent. Antarctica, which means opposite to the Arctic or opposite to the north, is surrounded by the Southern Ocean and is spread in a stretch of 14 million square kilometers. Lacking any native human population, the continent is the coldest on Earth and houses 90% of world's ice. Temperatures can dip up to minus 89.2 degrees Celsius here, and about 98% of Antarctica is covered by the Antarctic ice sheet. The Antarctic ice sheet is a vast sheet of ice averaging at least 1.6 kilometers thick. This much amount of ice means that Antarctic has about 70% of the world's fresh water, and melting of this ice would mean rising the world's sea levels by 200 feet, plunging all the coastal areas in water. In the name of flora and fauna, only a few types of mosses and liverworts, several species of fungi, and organisms like penguins, seals, sea cucumbers, and free-swimming snails thrive well in these icy stretches. The extreme inhospitable conditions and the rough terrains has always been a source of interest to the researchers. While many parts of the continent still remain unexplored, researchers routinely conduct experiments in a wide variety of disciplines here. This includes meteorological readings, studying marine samples, botanical excursions, geological expeditions, and even medical experiments assessing the effect of extreme climate on human body. For this purpose, governments of 30 nations, all signatories to the Antarctic Treaty, maintain permanent manned research stations on the continent. India has been a part of the Antarctic Treaty since 1983, and there are 2 Indian research stations located in various parts of Antarctica. This includes Maitri and the most recent Bharti Research Station. Indian researchers routinely conduct experiments on geology, geography, medicine, and many other areas from these research camps.
Welcome back. Let us now see what Dr. Abhishek Chauhan's research is all about and join him in his exploration of Antarctica. Thank you so much, Dr. Chauhan, for joining us today. Dr. Chauhan, how will you describe your experience during your travel, stay and research in such extreme climate conditions?
My experience really was memorable. Under the guidance of Professor Tanu Jindal, I have participated in 35th Indian Scientific Expedition to Antarctica. Antarctica is a very beautiful place, is a place where the lowest temperature, minus 89 degrees centigrade temperature is recorded. high wind speed, loneliness, and only as far as animal are concerned, only squirrel are there, penguins are there, white petals are there, seals are there. So in totality, my experience was good. I have enjoyed my scientific activity at both the station, at Maitri Research Station Antarctica and at Bharti Research Station Antarctica.
So, what was the research problem that you have been working on in Antarctica?
Scientists from different places, they have visited the Antarctica. My scientific work was basically on the environmental issue, and basically I'm a microbiologist, so I will look for the new species, new bacteria, and certainly we will come up with new things, and which will contribute to the scientific data for Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica.
So, how much time did you spend in Antarctica? And since you have spent so much of time, what do you think are the problems really that scientists who actually work on in Antarctica usually face?
Okay, I have been there for 3 months, and 26 days I spent in Maitri Research Station, and around 46 days I have spent in Bharti Research Station. Government of India, they have given all the facility at both the station. Maitri Research Station is around 25 years old station, but there all the facility are there. The scientists, they do not face any problem, but they have provided us the polar clothing. Whenever we go for the sampling, whenever we go for the scientific activity outside the station, we wear the polar clothing, because in Antarctica the temperature is very low. Lowest temperature is recorded, high wind speed. You cannot wear such normal clothing. So therefore, they have issued us the polar clothing. Whenever we will go for the sampling, we wear the clothing, and this is how we have enjoyed our scientific activity in Antarctica.
So it sounds very exciting, but the number of students who would like to take up such interesting research, what is your advice to them?
For Indian student, I would like to say those who have opted the science, like those who have studying the biotechnology, physics, chemistry, biology, and all stream related to science, they must visit the Antarctica. And NCAOR, National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research, every year they call student as well as scientists, and student and scientists, they have to propose the novel thing, and after the acceptance they arrange their visit to Antarctica. So I would request to student, they must apply through NCAOR and enjoy the beautiful place Antarctica.
All right, so Antarctic expeditions are exciting, but they're not really a tourist trip. They're all about science and definitely worth it. Thank you so much, Dr. Chauhan, for joining us today. Well, reading book might be the simplest task, but not for many. For those suffering from disabilities of arms, here comes an innovation, a foot-operated page turner that can help one read hands-free.
People with disabilities strive hard to lead normal lives. They largely depend on machines to ease their daily routines, which can be used without difficulty to reduce day-to-day drudgery. While reading a book might be considered one of the simplest tasks, often we fail to understand the difficulties of people with problems in their arms, for whom reading a book can be quite an effort. Bringing a ray of hope to these patients is a new device developed by Swapnanil Talukdar, a first-year BTech student from Assam, which will help provide read books hands-free. The device, in fact, is a foot-operated page turner which has been carved out by specially cutting out a normal table. The device is designed to mimic the process we use normally to turn pages while reading a book or magazine with the help of fingers. While rubber fittings and wires have been used to imitate the action of fingers, the device comprises a foot pedal to drive the device.
So it's a manual device which is operated through our legs, and it's very simple device which is actually a replica of the human hand. What we do, we press the thumb, slide the index and turn the page. So actually I have made a replica of the same concept here. So this you can see is a thumb, this acts as an index finger, and there is a turning mechanism. So it's very simple, we have to just follow the steps, pressing, sliding and turning. So following the steps, any sort of reading materials, that is magazines, newspapers, notebooks, can be used in this device and can be turned. So what is my aim? My aim is basically to help the differently able persons, to assist them. It's a physical device aid which acts as a page turning device.
In the setup, the book is placed on the center of the table, while one technology involving the foot paddle keep the page pressed. Another technology helps turn the page. This device works just like a normal person's hands and requires only little practice, after which it can be easily operated. Swapnil aims to improvise the design of the device in the coming days to encourage the people with disabilities pursue reading and learning.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar C24, Kutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today. We'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, stay tuned to Rajya Sabha TV and think scientific. Bye-bye.